So, I'm not gonna hold y'all on this live because I'm getting ready to get up out of here. Trying to find some lip gloss. Wait, hold on. So, this is not gonna take long. So, I've been gathering some data for an upcoming live that I'm gonna do where I'm gonna talk more about Laylim Layler. I'm going to talk more about new language that has been created that I'm ready to share. I was up last night just like pulling some documents together. But one of the things that's pressed upon me from the last video that I did, make sure that as you're coming into the live that you click that like button and subscribe to the channel. But one of the things that I want to do is I want to reach out to some trans masculine beings and I want to have a panel discussion about surviving the R word, surviving sexual assault. Because there's a lot of very different stories, and I think that they need to come together. Like, I think that we need to have a panel discussion because as we try to shift this shift this from patriarchy. I'm sure we're not trying to shift it into a matriarchy. I do think that for the most part, even though people are not consciously thinking of this, we want to live in a society where masculine and feminine energy and the divine feminine and the divine masculine is celebrated um, with equity and equality, like where we are uplifting one another and we are loving one another and celebrating each other no matter what genitals we were born with. And so I feel like it's time to have a conversation that talks about the divine feminine and the divine masculine and when we're born into bodies, whether we're born with a penis or whether we're born with a vagina or whether we're born with ambiguous genitalia, what it is like to be a survivor of sexual assault. And as someone who has been sexually assaulted by both sexes, because I have experienced sexual assault from both beings who were born with vaginas and both beings who were born with penises, I feel like it's important to have that conversation because a lot of times beings who are born with penises um, get depicted as the boogeyman, as if sexual assault can't be initiated by someone born with a vagina. as if it, and a lot of times because there's this narrative of the being that was born with the vagina um, being physically inferior to a being born with a penis, a lot of times because this is the narrative that we're given or this is the situation, um, the being who is the assailant in the sexual assault or the aggressor in the sexual assault has a advantage by being older, by being more mature, by being by being able to manipulate the situation because the other person may be younger or naive, which in some people's minds can be even more heinous and more odious that you are preying upon someone much younger than you, someone who is still innocent and less knowledgeable. And so I really feel like in order for us to heal collectively, we have to be willing to have a conversation about we have to be willing to have a conversation about the different ways in which sexual assault can look in the trans community and under the trans umbrella, because I was engaging in a conversation the other day and also on the live the other day, and it's just some rhetoric that I hear that I want to delve more into, like um when people say things like, um if you were assigned female at birth, sexual assault is different. And so I want to talk about those differences and I want to talk about why those differences matter. Like, I really want to have a conversation about that because as the paradigm shifts, and we're starting to see more beings who were not assigned male at birth establish power, establish dominance, just to make sure that we're checking the temperature and making sure that we're not trying to um, recreate patriarchy with different sexual appendages. Make sure we're not doing patriarchy again. We're not doing lopsided systems of oppression again with different genitalia. I feel like it's important to have a conversation more in depth about sexual assault and the different experiences and the different nuances based on genitalia. We're gonna base it on genitalia because from what I understand, there is a difference from what I'm hearing from people who are born who were assigned female at birth. It's a difference. I want to explore those differences. So I do want to reach out to some beings who were assigned female at birth, to have a conversation about sexual assault, to have an open conversation because what I'm not comfortable with and what I don't appreciate is being policed for how I talk about sexual assault. I don't like feeling like I am dishonoring someone simply because, or I am diminishing someone's experience, and the reason why that holds up is simply because this person was born with a different anatomy than me. And so, because at the end of the day, we're all human beings regardless as to what type of genitalia we were born with, we're all human beings. And so I really do want to have a more in depth and detailed conversation about sexual assault. And I would like representation from beings who were assigned female at birth and beings who are assigned male at birth, and if possible, sexually ambiguous beings. So that's going to be something that I'm going to be working on. If not, if it ain't but just me and a person who was assigned female at birth, I do want to have that conversation because I feel like a lot of times beings who were assigned female at birth um, gatekeep that conversation, and control the narrative when it comes to sexual assault. Like, for some reason, there is a strong need to gatekeep that conversation and police what that looks like. And I'm talking about sexual assault in general. Like, it's almost like beings who were assigned female at birth feel like when they're sexually assaulted, somehow their sexual assault is more devious and more heinous and more odious than when beings who are assigned male at birth are sexual assaulted. And so when we talk about sexual assault from a place that is less victimized, from a place that is um, more so where we've kind of like internalized this and we're not talking about it from a victimized space but an empowered space because we're understanding it as a reality and we've internalized it differently. I just really want to have an open conversation about it, and I'm open. I want to hear, I really do want to hear in details, but I also want to make sure that we're just not allowing ourselves just to go along with the programming that beings who are born with penises are the only predators, are the only one who have predator capabilities, are the only ones that can put themselves in situations and then manipulate the situation. Like, I really do want to have an honest and transparent conversation. I would like to be honest. I would like to put all of the manipulation and the mind games to the side and just like have a really raw in-depth conversation about it, because like I said again, every time this conversation about sexual assault comes up, it's like once a being who was assigned female at birth start talking about sexual assault, it's like it automatically has more weight, and beings who are assigned male at birth, they have to tippy-toe around the topic. And what gives validity to it is so many beings who were assigned male at birth just internalize it and move on, and many times are just too ashamed or too proud to talk about it, you know. And so I really feel like we need to talk about how this impacts us all. We need to really like be able to be vulnerable and transparent and have this in-depth conversation. And so that's one of the things that I'm definitely going to be working towards this year, is having that conversation and seeing where it goes. I will be back at some point this week, not with that conversation, because obviously I'm going to have to find a transmasculine person suitable to have the conversation with, because I want to make sure that it's fair. You want to make sure that it's fair. And, but yeah, later on this week, I'm coming back with some things that I've been working on regarding the nation, Laylim Layler. So I will get back with y'all on that later this week. But I just wanted to do a brief check-in with y'all. I'm gonna light a candle really quickly. Past, present, future. As I blow out this candle on the physical plane, it grows with purpose and intensity on the spiritual plane, preparing us for times that are now. Down but now that I say cool, keep spinning and turning. Iangani, Iyanko, Kulukulo, which means I am a child of God Goddess, and if I am, you know you are. Bound and round, both circle and square. We too speak life, so operations beware. Sending healing to those in despair, El Babosawa, which means we come in peace. No harm to any. Lelem, Leler. Y'all have a beautiful day, and I will check in with you later. Be well.